Okay, let's see what she's got.
There you go.
That's exhilarating, terrifying, and yet it feels like everything's under control.
That's right, exactly how it should be.
We're here in Tallahassee, Florida. We're at Trans Am Depot. That's where Camaro SS's enter and they leave as Pontiac Trans Ams. That is one hell of a screaming chicken. The first stop for the Camaro is the Performance Bay. This is where the mechanical magic happens. What are we looking at here?
Well, this performance portion of this has already been done, but as it comes in, it's basically a stock 6.2 liter, normally aspirated car. With this particular build, our 840 Extreme package, the 6.2 comes out, we'll drop in an LSX 454 from GM Performance, put a larger grind cut cam in it for the supercharger because it helps it breathe a little bit better than the cam that comes in with it. We'll drop on this 2.9 liter Whipple, and it is nasty. If you're gonna drive something that looks like this, you don't want it to be slow.
And what's the torque on the engine?
On this one here is about right at about 720 to 730. And that's at the wheels.
Those are great numbers.
Yeah.
When you have all of that power, you're going to need, and you're going that fast, you're going to need to stop, and you're going to need to stop really well. And the Camaro comes with the Brembos, the four piston.
It comes with the 4-pot Brembos. If they opt for the upgrade, we'll put in slotted and cross-drilled rotors all the way around, try to keep them cool. After we'll finish with this, we'll get up underneath and we swap out the stock coil springs and sway bars. We use iBox lowering springs and sway bars. It drops the car an inch. In combination with the sway bar, it tightens this car up.
Now, I just drove a Camaro SS. This feels more planted. This feels more stable.
The increased weight and strength of the sway bars means that when you're going through corners, there's absolutely no body roll whatsoever.
Oh yeah, it just eats the road up.
It's amazing that people think of American muscle cars as just being straight line quarter-mile cars only.
Yeah.
And we've absolutely transformed this platform and this chassis into something that handles well, accelerates well, stops well.
That doesn't get old.
No, hammer third the way you just did.
Yeah.
It's explosive.
That is explosive. The last thing that happens in here is the noise out the rear. So what's going on with the exhaust?
Well, the exhaust system, especially on the stage 3.
This is already loud.
Yeah,
It's
it
very loud
sounds
and beautiful car.
Oh man, it sounds so good. On the stage 3 and stage 5 cars, we're running American Racing exhaust system. They've made a custom system just for our Trans Ams.
Nice. Look at it shake itself. I love this. This is incredible. It's like it's almost so scared of its own exhaust. It's just like vibrating. Next up for the Camaro is a little cosmetic surgery in the form of adding T-tops and custom front and rear fascias. After that, there's a quick spray in the paint booth, and then it's on to finer detail work, like custom forged rims and a completely reimagined interior. So why did you and your brother decide to start this endeavor?
I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was on the way home from work, and the thought hit me that, you know, if General Motors doesn't come back out with the Trans Am, we could do it. At the time, we had a sports marketing firm, but we did restorations on the side as a hobby, and you know, I'm a firm believer what man has done, man can do. If somebody else could do it, why couldn't we? Saw the images that Kevin Morgan had drawn that had been published on the internet. I picked up the phone, called him in April of 2008, and I told him my vision and my dream about taking his images and bringing them to life.
So what do you say to people who are like, you know, why should I spend, because some of the cars are in the 6 figures, you know, the entry level is, we're looking at what, 75,000?
75,000.
That's a very expensive car. What do you say to people who say that the sticker might be too high?
Look at what goes into actually transforming these cars. What we're doing is a lot of handwork that you're not going to get coming off assembly line. Yeah, we're changing over 300 parts on this car. By the time we have all of the graphics painted, after the part is primed and ready to paint, we have an additional 200 hours in there.
Wow. Why the Camaro?
The Camaro and the Trans Am were always built on the same platform. So it only follows if you're going to build a new Trans Am, you use the same platform.
Trans Am Worldwide has a couple of select offerings, but the most popular is the Outlaw. There's also the Bandit Edition. Now, this is a modern envisioning of Burt Reynolds' iconic Smokey and the Bandit car. They only made 77 of these, and while it's not cheap, that cost does get you a really cool special feature. The Bandit comes with Burt's Hancock right there on the dash.
Right.
What's the first thing that Burt Reynolds says after you take him for a ride in a finished car?
After we took him for a ride, you're gonna have to let me know before you get on it like that again.
Obviously, we asked if we could drive the Bandit, and they said absolutely not. These are all customer cars that are spoken for. But they did give us the keys to the Outlaw. They smartly have put this gentleman in the car so that I don't crash it. Right?
Absolutely.
I love how responsive the steering is. This has much better steering feedback. It has much better response.
Absolutely.
And it's much better to point in than the donor Camaro. It doesn't feel like a Camaro anymore. It feels better.
No, we're surrounded by hand-laid carbon fiber that was done here in the Southeast, made in-house, finished off to perfection. It's a beautifully hand-built car.
This is sturdy. There's no weird engine sounds. There's no knocking. There's no creaking. There's none of that you usually get when people are upfitting a donor car to become something else. You usually get those little weird squeaks in the door and you're like, oh, what the fuck is that? None of that here. I would spend so much more a year in gas just because I would be doing that the whole time. It's kind of amazing that you guys get any actual work done in the shop, because I would be like, oh, you know what? I think I need to go test the thing on the Outlaw. I'll be back.
There's certainly a contest for keys. No doubt about it.
The car, as I see it, only has a couple of drawbacks. It's probably not great for daily driving because you can actually chirp the wheels when you're going into third gear. Even at 120, you can actually break the wheels loose if you're shifting. So that's probably not a good daily driver. Although some people actually do. There's a grandma who actually got the 840 horsepower package, and we hear she takes it to the supermarket all the time. But this car is a proper beast, and if you love Trans Ams, you'll really appreciate all of the work and craftsmanship that has gone into resurrecting such an iconic vehicle.
One last time!
There you